What's up, everybody? Got a great episode for you guys today. We got Trevor Borland interview, Buffalo legend, Brook legend, everything legend. Give him his flowers. Somebody we grew up with. Jay knew him since he was in diapers. I knew him since we both were in diapers. So it's gonna be a great interview for you guys. And then we're gonna talk a little bit of sports after, some Bears training camp, some NBA, KD possibly to Boston. And then we'll give our top 4 Marvel movies, Marvel Mount Rushmore movies, kind of thing. So let's get into it.
Let's.
Got a great special guest for you guys today. My boy, Trevor Borland. Grew up together, basically. Jaden seen him in young diapers, too. So we got a great connection with the guest today. How are we doing today, Trevor?
We're doing good. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you on,
Yes, no question.
Blessing having you on, man. But shit, let's get into it. Now, growing up, your dad, stud at Wisconsin, made it to the league. Your older brother, Tough Borland, did his thing, went to Ohio State, made it to the league too. Did that put a lot of pressure on you to do your own thing? And you like, I gotta make it. You know, everybody in my family making it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's definitely gonna be a little bit of pressure. Being, seeing all my dad's stuff growing up, watching my brother play. But I knew it was something I really wanted to do also. So it really wasn't like, oh, I gotta do this because they did this. I loved playing football, and I want to make it for myself, regardless of my dad's or my brother's accomplishments.
That's important, man. Now, you also played baseball growing up too. Was there ever a point where you were like, damn, maybe I should try a little harder with this baseball thing. Maybe I can go further with that.
I mean, baseball was my first love. Honestly, I started with baseball. Also play a little basketball too.
Oh yeah.
But once I started putting on the pads, there was nothing like that. That's what I wanted to do. Had tunnel vision on that. I still enjoyed playing baseball and basketball up until high school, but my eyes have been always set on football ever since I laced up the cleats the first time.
Damn. Was there ever a point like for you growing up with your dad and your brother coming into high school? What was your football IQ like? Did you feel like you were ahead of the rest of the kids because you were essentially, that was y'all language, essentially everybody played at a high level?
Yeah.
And both intelligent football players. So what was that like coming into high school? Was you like, oh, I know a little bit more than everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like I definitely had a little bit of an advantage going into high school and especially into youth ball. But I never took myself too seriously from that standpoint. I knew there was always something else to learn.
Right.
Always came in with open ears, ready to learn anything to be the best I can, really. But no, definitely, I noticed, me knowing something more than the next guy. But I never took that too seriously.
Right.
Now, so heading into high school, was it a thing like we mentioned Tough, your older brother was doing his thing with Ohio State? Was there a little more pressure to create your own legacy at Bolingbrook High School?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to, pave your own path per se. But I do feel really fortunate to have older brother like Tough where I can kind of follow in his footsteps a little bit. Obviously played 2 different positions, so there's a little difference there. But yeah, I wanted to do my own thing. I feel like I have thus far, but I feel blessed to have an older brother like Tough where I can watch, see what he's doing, and change things. If
Right.
he did something, I can maybe do something a little bit different. But yeah, no.
Absolutely. So looking at your high school career, when did you feel like you was like, okay, I arrived, like I'm my own man, I'm really good at this, I can take this to the next level?
Yeah. If I had to think of a game specifically, I'd say junior year against St. Charles North. We'd been kind of trailing the whole game. Offense was struggling, needed a couple big plays. Felt like the play calling kind of shifted to lean on me a little bit in the pass game, or as well as the run game. I was able to make a couple big plays in the pass game, and then the runs, they kind of seemed to be running right behind me. I was able to spring a couple things loose. Me personally, I feel like I've always been a pretty confident player. I've always been confident in my abilities and everything. That game specifically really gave me the confidence to say, okay, I belong here. I can play, I can play at the next level, but that confidence sticks with me to today, but yeah, I'd say that's probably when it really started. I really had that moment.
Shit, right before a big game in the MAC, let me turn on them St. Charles North highlights. Get me right. Play dudes in dirt.
Right.
But now, so junior year is always a huge year for high school recruits. Like, that's the year you got to prove it. So what are some of the things you were trying to prove your junior year? Whether it's, the blocking, the receiving, all that kind of stuff.
There's always been questions about my receiving ability. I'm a shorter tight end, not as fast, not as athletic. So yeah, I was definitely trying to go out and prove that I can be of value in the pass game. Also another big thing is I was just trying to get recruited, watching my brother go through that recruiting process. I wanted to go do the same thing. So I really wanted to do anything I could to get to the next level. That was really my main focus.
So yeah, being on them visits, being that young kid putting on, they're like, hey, you can put on jersey too.
Yeah, exactly.
D-line jersey on.
So looking at that junior year, and now you took off like you did, and now you're starting to get that recruiting attention. How did that feel? Like, okay, I put in the work, and now I'm actually reaping the benefits of it. Was it like sigh of relief? Like, okay, I'm one of them guys.
Yeah, I mean, definitely a sigh of relief. With me, I started to get a lot of attention early on in my junior year, kind of during the season with a number of schools. But for a while, it took a while for one of the schools to pull the trigger. So it was really frustrating, stressful. And then once the first offer came in, I got it from Indiana State, great coaching staff, great program. Then, there's that big sigh of relief. And then, usually once you get one, they start to kind of follow. But yeah, definitely a big sigh of relief. I mean, it's a hard process. It's not easy.
Yes.
Shit, definitely it's hard. And you putting on like a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, hey, I'm seeing these guys get like 75 offers, and I have no coaches. I'm sending coaches emails and shit.
Right.
But now, so what is some advice you would give to a high school player going through that right now, prepping for his junior year, trying to go through those decisions?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it first starts with the team you're on, honestly. Just do whatever you can to help your team win, help your team be successful. That's what coaches want to see. If you're doing everything you can to help your team win, you're ultimately going to be playing good.
Right.
So it starts there. And then, once you get in the recruiting process, take all of it as you can. I mean, go to camps, when you meet coaches, shake their hand, get to know them. And just try to enjoy it. Don't let it stress you out. It's gonna stress you out, but try not to let it get to you. Be confident in yourself, be your biggest advocate. And just, know God has a plan for you. If that's the path you're gonna go, and, he's gonna take care of you. But
yeah.
Amen. We all right. Okay. So for you, you mentioned how you were kind of known for that, I guess, blocking tight end, shorter, less athletic. From your perspective, what were some things that you felt like were in your control that you were really locking in on? Was it your technique or how you cut the ball, things that with work can actually improve?
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely, I've always been, like a blocking tight end. There's always, technique stuff you can work on, especially in the run game. It's very technical. In the pass game, my biggest thing is I need to get faster. I need to get out of breaks. So, I was constantly working on that, trying to get better at that. But yeah, just focus on everything. You never be satisfied with your work. Get complacent, you're done.
Can't get complacent now. That's true. But it's crazy. Like all the dudes that like end up blowing up they are the guys that were playing O-line on Pop
Yeah.
Warner.
Yeah.
And the dudes, the kids' sons or the quarterbacks and the running backs, the dudes that was in the trenches doing the dirty work
Right.
was the ones that, turned out to do their thing.
Gotta learn how to block. You're gonna be asked to block at the next level.
Yeah, no matter what, man.
Another
But
thing,
now-
learn how to long snap. Everyone needs long
That's
snappers.
crucial too. Hell
That's
yeah.
something-
Yeah,
that's
everybody
something you
need
can do to
one.
Make a team.
You don't need one until yours sucks.
Yeah.
But now, so how would you compare Friday Night Lights to Saturday games? Now it's a big
Hold
question.
on, you got.
I've had a lot of conversations
Friday Night
about
Lights to action Tuesday nights.
It's been that long. Obviously, you haven't been under them Friday Night Lights in a minute.
Oh, that.
That's just different. That's
Yeah.
just-
I mean, they're two different things, really. I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing
it
like
is.
Friday Night Lights. You're out there with, some of your best friends that you grew up with.
Mhm.
So that's just fun. Friday Night Lights, that's fun. I see, Saturday nights and action. That's business now.
Right.
You're
No,
there for a
that's
reason.
fact.
You're there for a reason. Coaches are, harping down on you.
Right.
That it's more serious,
No question.
for sure.
So for you, like coming into college, of course you're going through recruiting and they're telling you everything you want to hear. Now you get there that first day and it's winter conditioning or fall camp. And like how rude of an awakening was that first week or 2 weeks or even shit, some people's semester or however long.
Shit, it was
Yeah,
a day.
I mean, it's crazy. It's definitely an eye opener.
Yeah.
The first thing you realize, just everyone there is good.
Yes.
Everyone there's big. Everyone there's strong. Everyone there's fast. Everyone there's good. Everyone there was one of the best players on their team, best in the state. That's the first thing you notice, and you got to figure out, okay, how do I differentiate myself? And that's the only way you can do that is through hard work, doing what you're coached to do, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But you got to figure out what that means for yourself. You working hard might be different than the guy next to you working hard.
Right.
So you just got to figure it out for yourself, in all honesty. But it's so much different.
Yes.
It's definitely a big wake up.
No question. And you look at guys, like you mentioned, some guys need to be in the film room longer.
Yeah.
And they're crazy athletic, but they making the mental mistakes. Some people, it's the opposite side of the spectrum. So
Right.
that's
Right.
a fact for sure.
Now I'll go a step further. What was your welcome to college football moment? We've heard some crazy stories. Some kind of like
Everybody got one.
everybody got one.
Okay. Yeah. So it was in the winter conditioning,
Of course.
and we got a big lift on Friday. We call it Big Squat Friday.
Oh God, squatting on Fridays.
There's a name.
What
Squatting
y'all
on
doing up
Friday.
in Buffalo?
I'm there. I'm putting up my little freshman weight. I'm thinking I'm having a good workout, and I look across the weight room at the first rack because that's where they put the big guys, the dogs, like the guys that are pretty much the standard. This guy's got 7 plates on there, maybe. Just
Damn.
Was that shit bending?
yeah, it was bending. It was moving it too, and I'm just like, what did I get myself into?
Right. So looking back on that experience to where you're at now, the success you had last year, was there a point where you've kind of like transitioned from being that wide-eyed, bushy-eyed young kid to like, okay, I belong here. I'm one of the guys, and I'm here to add value to the team.
Yeah. I think that transition really happened my freshman year.
Mhm.
So obviously they got here, COVID, big mess.
Right.
I think I was the 5th tight end on the depth chart.
Buried.
Yeah, fourth or 5th on the depth chart, just buried down there.
Mhm.
And we had a guy, Julian, loved the guy. He was from Canada, so they do school a little bit different up there. He was 25 years old.
He was what?
He was 25 years old.
Yeah, I played with a Canadian who was old too.
Yeah.
Old as shit.
So he COVID happens, they cancel the season. So he goes, what? I'm 25. I'm the oldest on the team by like 3 years. I don't really want to do this anymore. I'm not gonna go pro. So then all of a sudden I'm the 3 tight end and we would roll in 3 or 4 times in the game. So now I realized, okay, I have to play this year. I gotta lock in. I'm on special teams. So the flip really switched in my head to where it was like, okay, I'm in college, like, wow, this is great. So now I realized, okay, I have to play this year. I gotta lock in. I'm on special teams. So the flip really switched in my head to where it was like, okay, I'm in college, like, wow, this is great. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I gotta get to work. I gotta get in the film room. I gotta get in the weight room. I gotta get in the work. It was a wake up call, but it was something that needed to happen.
No question. I gotta ask one question, follow-up
Go ahead.
question. How nervous were you on your first play in the game?
Oh, I can't even describe it. I can't even describe it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I can't put it into words. But yeah, my first play is against NIU on kickoff, running down.
Shout out to NIU.
Never played kickoff before, but yeah,
Right.
I was shaking.
Well, you were a 5, L5 or R5?
Yeah. Yeah, just run down and get double.
Some shit up, right? You
Yeah,
just run
just
it out
run into
there.
somebody.
But now, so you talked a little bit about some adjustments, some transitions. What are some, like, for real, like, adjustments you had to make from going from high school football to college football? Like, what is it? Stuff you had to change in your daily routine kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, definitely daily routine. The biggest thing in that was probably sleep. Definitely take that more seriously. I try to get 8 hours every night. High school, I was, I don't know, going to bed at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. up playing video games.
On the phone caking or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like work wise, I flipped a whole new switch on, okay, I gotta work harder. You're not getting by here. You can get by in high school. But you really need to take this seriously. But sleep, biggest thing, and the daily routine wise.
No question.
Shit. Now, you went to Buffalo. Your uncle was a coach at Buffalo. So what was that like, having like a family member in the coaching staff, seeing him every day kind of thing? Was he getting in your ass a little more, or was he kind of that, coach you can talk to a little, have a deeper connection with?
Yeah. Well, he told me in the recruitment process, like, look, if you come here, that's great, but you're not given anything. You're not going to be given anything just because I'm here, which is great, because I wouldn't want that. But he was the defense coordinator. Obviously, we've been on offense, didn't cross paths too much during practice. But yeah, I definitely made sure to kick it up a notch if he was like watching a Jill or something, because I knew he would be on my ass or something. But no, it was good, like having somebody there, having family there, being like so far away from home. It's like a 9-hour drive, didn't know anybody here.
Right.
But yeah, he was more of like the figure that I could kind of go talk to outside. It's kind of funny, actually. I didn't really know whether to call him uncle or coach.
Right.
So that was a little awkward at some times. So in the facility he was coach, outside he was uncle. But yeah, I mean, he didn't treat me any different than any other player, which was great, which is the way it should be.
At the end of the day, that's how you got to feed his. So
yeah. Yeah.
Right. So looking at that, so your first year was during COVID, right?
Yeah.
The very first time. How was that? Like, did you get stuck in Buffalo? Like,
yeah.
They canceled the season.
So spring break came, and so we go home or whatever, and then 2 days into that, they're like, "Oh yeah, we're shutting down classes. It's online or whatever." So drive up, go get my stuff, come back home. I don't know. We were at home on lockdown for I don't know how many it was, 2-3 months, and then we got up. We came back in June, started workouts, and that was all we did. Go there, work out, be at the facility for, what was it, 2.5-3 hours a day, get your workout in, and go home. And they're like,
nobody's there.
They're like, don't leave unless you have to go shopping. Don't bring anybody over.
The hell.
Yeah, then they canceled the season. So we were like, all right, I guess they canceled it right when camp was about to start. So then we were just practicing every day. for
For
no
no
reason.
reason.
We weren't even playing a season. So we had like a 3-month-long camp,
Oh,
and
God.
then they were like, "Oh, we'll start up in November or whatever and just play conference games." So it was weird. It definitely wasn't, what I thought it would be.
Right. Nobody
Um,
nobody at the game, nothing.
Yeah, nobody at the game. I think parents were able to come to one game, and it was an away game at Bowling Green.
Okay.
We're making that trip.
Right. You boys in Ohio don't care. It's cool.
Yeah, right. Yeah, New York, no, it was locked down.
Right, no question. It was shut down even worse. That was probably the worst place it got hit.
Yeah.
Now, during the COVID season, though, you were playing with running back Jared Patterson. Dude took off that year, having Heisman. I mean, he was having NCAA 14 kind of numbers and shit, dynasty mode.
Mm-hmm.
So what was it like, being in that huddle with that guy, blocking for him, picking his brain, talking to him a little? What was that like?
It's crazy. It was, he is the best football player I've ever played with. I don't care who we're talking. But I mean, he was insane, but there's also other guys in the huddle that was insane. We had the #1 offense line in the country that year too. So I definitely learned a lot from those guys that I've seen the run block. But Jared made everything easy. Like you can miss a block and he's gonna make the guy miss,
Right.
and you get your 5 yards. But the way he attacked every day, whether there was nutrition, getting rehab, getting treatment, he was really like the standard of what a college football player should be. Always did everything right, was always on time, first one in, last one out. He was that guy. That's the only way you can really put it. He was just that guy.
Yeah, I remember when we played y'all in 14 in the MAC championship, and I think he was a freshman at the time. I'm like, oh, he next up. This is different.
Yeah.
I see him then look like a mini Saquon. But
yeah.
So you talked about some of the leadership qualities he had, specifically leading by example. Was there anybody in your position group early on that kind of you took a liking to and kind of tried to like, okay, he teaching me the game. He kind of my old head. He mentoring me, get me right in the playbook or anything like that?
Yeah. That guy's name is Jake Molnich. He's a fullback, tight end crossover. Okay. This guy has hit some
Army
people.
Swiss knife.
Yeah, dude, he absolutely kills people. I've never seen people get hit so hard. At first, when I first got in there, everyone kind of gave me the cold shoulder a little bit in the tight end room, wanted to see what I could do first. But he was kind of the first guy to really like take me under his wing and, teach me what to do. He's a great guy. He was on the team last year, obviously number 44. I can't really put into words, in all honesty, what he's done for me, what he's done for the program. He started off as a walk-on, earned a scholarship. Really gave. When you talk about giving your life to something, he gave his life to that program. When you have a conversation about a play or a technique or whatever, he was giving everything he knew to you. And he's one of my best friends. He will be for a long time. But there's not enough I could say about him, really.
Damn.
Shout out to Jake.
Ciao, Jake.
Shout him out. But now, so with your relationship with Jake and how like that worked, were you like that with the incoming freshman this year, or how has that changed your approach to talking to new guys and treating new guys?
Definitely. I tried, do exactly what he did with me, in all honesty. I know what it feels like kind of coming in. You're like I want people to like me, blah, blah, blah. But, you really got to show them the ropes on what it is, like what you need to do, in all honesty. It's hard. College football is hard. If you don't have any, someone mentoring you or someone following you or leading you down the right path, it's easy to get lost. I just know what it feels like to be the new guy coming in. So I just try to help him out just like he did to me.
Definitely. So looking into this, I mean, we're so starting out from January. Obviously, you come in, you're looking at things you're probably watching last year's film, looking at things you could have got better at. Maybe you looking at games where you felt like you could have made a bigger difference. Now looking back on spring ball, going into fall camp coming up here shortly, what are the things that you're trying to work on specifically to take your game to the next level?
Yeah. Well, the first thing that stood out on the film was I need to get a little stronger, need to put on a little more weight. So this offseason I put on about 15 pounds.
Damn.
Especially when I was playing like 235, 238. Now I'm 250, 253, somewhere in there.
Okay.
So that was number one. You know, I need to have some weight under me to be able to move some people. And yeah, I definitely want to be a bigger presence in the pass game. You know, last year it was me and Jake out there in 12 personnel, first and second down. You know, we'd get to a third and long and we'd kind of put in another guy who was more of a receiving threat. And, you know, I really want to be like a 3 down, 4 down guy this year. So definitely working on that.
Now, so last year, your sophomore year, you played in every game. You had to start too. But what was some of the experiences, some of the lessons you had last season that you're going to take into this new season and try to, you know, get better at?
Yeah. Really just there's always something to improve on. I don't want to say I was overconfident, but I had a lot of confidence going into this past season after having a pretty good freshman year. Not that I had a bad sophomore year or slump or anything. I felt like I put together a really good season again. But yeah, just don't be complacent. In all honesty, you can always get better, for sure. And yeah, I really want to be the guy this year. I don't want to be a rotational guy. I want to be a four down tight end, like I mentioned previously.
Right. We gotta have a tight end on the field.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a weapon. So looking going into the X's and O's, do you like blocking more than catching the ball, or which one do you like more? I mean, everybody like getting the ball, of course.
Yeah. I mean, of course I'm gonna say my favorite thing is scoring touchdowns.
Right.
But yeah, I like blocking. I like being physical. I like moving people against their will. I'll put it that way. But I really like it all. There's nothing I don't like about the position. I like how versatile we are. I like how offenses use us a lot, motion us around, do millions of different things with us. I really enjoy it all.
Now, you talked about scoring touchdowns. You scored your first touchdown against Ohio. What was that moment for you like? Like all the preparation, all that took off, it paid off. So what was that moment? What were you feeling?
It was definitely like a little emotional. I didn't cry or nothing, but
it's okay if you did, bro.
I didn't cry or nothing, but I was just like, wow, like this is what I dreamed about, playing college football, scoring a touchdown. Play itself was kind of crazy. We ran like a mesh concept. I was running like over the ball at 10 yards around the goal line, and I think the quarterback was under pressure. He just kind of threw it. I don't know how it got through all the traffic and all the arms, but somehow it was just ended up in my stomach. So my first thought was like, did I really like catch this? And then it set in, and I was like, wow, like this is all I worked for.
Right. So in that route, like you said, mesh, typically when you see zone, they tell you to sit, right? So what you were doing, okay, I seen linebackers go into theirs, dropping their zone, and you just sat right there in the middle.
Yeah. The way we run is we got like an over mesh and an under mesh, and then we like to run out of like 2x2. So I was like the second guy. We ran out of a twin tight end, pair. So the in-ground tight end, the Y, ran the over mesh. I had the OTB, and the backs got the wheel out of the backfield. So yeah, when you run the OTB, it's really just find the hole in the zone.
Right.
Yeah.
So now, like with all things considered, last year and COVID season, what should we expect from you this season personally, and what should we expect from Buffalo this season?
Right.
you're gonna expect a guy that's just gonna give it all. He's gonna leave it all out there. It's my third year. We got a lot of talent this year. I think we got a real legitimate shot of win the MAC championship.
And now you watch out.
Yeah, he's good,
More
man.
money on NIU. Should I NIU? I'm just playing.
Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of talented receivers, but we got a pretty talented tight end room. So I think they're going to use us in a pretty dynamic way this year. I'll definitely be catching more passes this year for sure. That's something I've been working on.
Don't give them too much. That's what NIU people trying to.
No,
get.
that's not scheme. That's just but yeah, I think I'll definitely be more of a complete tight end this year, not just run game only. Yeah, and what I said about the team is, we're talented. We got all the talent we need to win a MAC championship. Coaches went to work this offseason, got some guys out of the portal, got some pretty good freshmen, got some pretty talented guys coming back. So now we just got to put it all together.
No question. Okay. Yeah, so this is your third year. I feel like in football and sports in general, when you've kind of gotten those first couple years and you can kind of compare teams based on the past years you've been there, where does this team rank in terms of like talent and confidence you feel going into this next season?
Obviously my freshman year, we were, ridiculous.
Right.
And they say you never can, just roll out onto the field and put up points on people, but we really were doing that. We and to put it in simplest terms,
right.
I think the talent this year is up there with with my freshman year. Not to say we weren't talented last year. There was a number of things. Not going to make any excuses or anything like that.
Right.
But this year was junior year and my freshman year. These two teams are really talented.
Okay.
Now, this is a question we haven't asked anybody yet, but I've been interested to ask it. So, what is one team on the schedule? You don't want to overlook your competition or be excited to play competition, whatever. But what is one team on the schedule year in, year out you want to play? Like, was it last year? Oh, they was talking shit to me in one play, but you want to get that lick back. What is one team you look forward to play every year?
I'd say definitely in the MAC is Miami of Ohio. I mean, there's a lot of good things to say about that program. They're obviously good every single year.
Yeah.
They're, if you want to win a MAC championship, that's the team you got to beat. That's really the way it is in the MAC East. Freshman year, we got after them, beat them pretty good. They did the same to us this year. It's not a great feeling being on the other side of it. So definitely want to get them back. But yeah, that's the team to beat. Ohio is always real good. We beat them this year. Bowling Green, Kent State, they both beat us this year. We beat them freshman year. I mean, really every team.
Yeah,
that's some action.
Action, yeah.
It's some action. Yeah, I mean, really, Miami of Ohio is probably the one that's, you always look forward to being in the MAC East. Not to overlook any of the other teams, but
nothing wrong with that.
No question. So, looking at Maction, do you have any horror stories from Maction? I mean, I remember we used to play like maybe 4 games in 21 days, and they were all during the week. Is there any time where you was like, oh man, this shit is crazy? We just played a game. We're out till like midnight. Now we got to go to school in the morning and
class the next
right.
day.
Yeah. So freshman year, first game we played at NIU. We fly back in. I don't know what time we got back, 2-3 a.m. And we had to play Miami of Ohio in 6 days. So a short week. So they're like, all right, be at the facility at 9 or whatever.
Right.
So couldn't even get a full night of sleep. I don't even think the coaches went home.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy. Mac, it's fun to play on Tuesday, Wednesday nights.
Oh, it is.
But you start to lose track of what day it is because
Right.
game days feel like a Saturday.
Right.
You know, you'll be practicing on Sunday and you'll be like, oh, I thought today was Wednesday.
It'll fuck you all up.
But now, so we asked Isaiah this, and what is your pitch to somebody that is not paying a lot of attention to the MAC, that focuses on the Big Ten, the SEC? What would you say to somebody to get them to watch the MAC more?
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, for one, it's a super competitive conference. There's always different conference champion. You know, one year someone might win it all. The next year they might finish second to last, you know.
Right.
It's always changing. And the other thing is there's really talented football players here. You know, there's so many you can name big time players that went on to the NFL, you know, Khalil Mack, Ben Roethlisberger. There's talented guys right now. There's talented guys that play here for 2-3 years and they transfer to somewhere big and they make a name for themselves there. There's really good football players, a lot of angry football players, because a lot of us, you know, you talk amongst your teammates and stuff, and there's guys that feel like they, you know, could play at Power 5 level. Not that we don't love it here at Buffalo, because we do, and you know the same can be said about the other places. But yeah, I got a lot of guys feel like they're underrated for sure, so they want to go out and prove something. Everyone's playing as hard as they can. But yeah, the talent level here is real. A lot of great players.
No question. So looking at it from with recent college football and the NIL, how's that trickle down into the MAC, specifically in your locker room? Is dudes out here checking a bag, they pull it up in a G-Wagon, or are they just getting free subs at my man's down the street sub sandwich?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some guys getting some stuff, you know. I don't think anyone's pulling up in a new truck or a new Lamborghini or anything like that.
Right.
You know, most of the stuff is like, you know, a company kind of sends you stuff. Like a big one is Liquid IV. They sent my roommate some, like, just some products and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I don't think anyone's rolling in any huge cash deals here. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so if you were in the league today, what is one quarterback you would want to throw you the ball? Any quarterbacks. It could
Aaron
be
Rodgers.
or present. Okay.
Aaron Rodgers.
Seems like you got your vibe made up. You don't want to think about it a little more?
He'll turn a zero to a hero real quick. My man's from out of Indiana State. He got him.
Robert Tonyan, yeah.
Yeah, Bob Tonyan, yeah. He tore his ACL, I think, last year. So
yeah.
That's crazy.
It's turned a lot of guys to some greats.
Right. Speaking of the NFL, is there any like tight ends that you specifically like watch their film? Like, okay, these are things I can add to my game.
Yeah. Probably the biggest I watch is Juszczyk from the 49ers. I mean, he's a fullback tight end. That's kind of what I am. Yeah. Man, there's a lot of guys that like watching though. Obviously I love watching Kill. He's a guy that, you know, I think he's probably the second best tight end in the league.
Absolutely.
You know, he gets it done both in the run and pass game. Yeah, I mean, I really like watching the 49ers tight ends.
Yes.
I like watching Hunter Henry. He's a guy that's been doing it for a while. Who else? You know, I would love to sit here and say like, oh, I watch Travis Kelce all the time, but you know, that's not realistic for me.
Right.
I like watching Goddard from the Eagles.
Okay.
He's a guy that sat or was a good pair with Zach Ertz for a while. Now he's by himself and he's doing his thing. TJ Hawkinson is probably another big one. He's like so unorthodox in some of the techniques he used, whether it's like stemming routes or you know, what he's doing in the run game, but you know, he's very good. It's brilliant, this kind of stuff he does. So yeah, I'd say probably all those guys.
What about the Chicago legend, Cole Kmet? You check out his highlights?
Hey, Cole Kmet's pretty good. I'm excited to see what he's gonna do in the next couple of years for sure. Yeah.
But I'll go a step further. We talked about this. You know, I told you send me your top 10. But who are your top 5? Let's put it out for the show right now.
Top 5. All right. So number 1, Travis Kelce, obvious reasons. Number 2, George Kittle. I mean, you can put him at 1. I think he's 2. I don't think there's anyone passing Travis Kelce. Mark Andrews at number 3.
He had a huge year last year.
Huge year. I mean, you could put him at 1 or 2. I wouldn't be mad about it. You know, he does everything they ask him to do.
Right.
I'd say Darren Waller at 4. Absolute matchup nightmare.
Yes.
Probably the reason why he's not higher is because, you know, he's not very effective in the run game. You know, he's been injured. In 5, I'd put Goddard.
Over Pitts? I'm not mad about it.
I would put Pitts at 6. I'd put Pitts at 6.
Yeah. Goddard, he's definitely underrated too. Like with Ertz going to the
and there's a reason why they chose him over Ertz too. I will say.
I had Pitts at 6, Hawkinson at 7, Hunter Henry at 8, Dawson Knox from the Bills at 9, and Dalton Schultz from Dallas at 10.
Okay, Schultz is a nice. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He made a fantasy. You always pick his ass up. Yeah.
He made a crazy
every now and then.
From the season before till this past season. He made a really big jump.
No question. So looking at obviously your journey from Pop Warner to high school, all the way to where you're at now, coming up to where you're at in Buffalo, now being a vet, what is some advice you would give to just kids just coming up trying to play football, specifically in college?
Learn to love the game.
Right.
I'd say. You know, if you want to do it at this level, you gotta love it.
Right.
It's not easy. It feels like a job sometimes. You know, it's not just throw on the pads, go to practice, go home. You know, there's a lot of extras that come with it. But learn to love the game. And if you're, you know, in Pop Warner or in high school right now, definitely really enjoy it then. Because, you know, once you get to this level, it's a business. You know, it's time to go to work. Definitely love the game.
Now, before we let you go, before we end the interview, let's get a hot take of the week from you. Anything sports related, whatever you want. It's your show.
All right, hot take. I prepared for this.
Okay.
Packers versus Bills Super Bowl.
Okay. I'm not mad about
Packers. Are you y'all are Wisconsin fans, right? Yeah, that's right.
All right.
But so you got the Chicago, everything else in your background. What's going on?
Yeah, just the Packers.
Brewers fan. Brew crew.
You know, not to be a homer, but both teams were right there last year. I mean, obviously last year's in the past.
Fair enough.
They lost some things this offseason. Obviously, the Packers lost Devontae Adams. You can't really replace a Devontae Adams.
No.
But I feel like they drafted a really young wide receiver from North Dakota State. It's going to be really good. Anytime you got Aaron Rodgers back there, you know, he's going to make things work for you. The Bills lost their OC. But I think they added Joe Brady as their quarterback coach. I'm not sure their OC is, but
and Von Miller on the defensive side.
Yeah, added Von Miller. They still got Josh Allen, Dawson Knox. I feel like they just did a great job of filling in the weapons that they lost and adding new ones. So Packers versus Bills Super Bowl.
It was lose to the Chiefs one more time. They go pride, bro.
I think they're the better overall team. But I will say Green Bay losing Devontae Adams, that was a huge blow. Not only that, they didn't add anything outside of, you know, the rookie out of North Dakota State. And, you know, you could be young and still perform at a high level in this league. But I don't know. What does it take for Green Bay to get over that hump?
I don't know. We were there 2 years in a row.
Yes.
We were
number one seed.
We were beating the 49ers.
Right. The whole game.
We had a special teams blunder. That's really what it was. So you take away that game, we're in this, or you take away that play, we're in the Super Bowl. Okay. I don't know. There's just sometimes I feel like there's just a hump and there's nothing you really need to do to get over it. You just got to get over it as an organization. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
I like that pick though. Definitely gonna have to post that as a clip. But thank you for coming on, Trevor, man. We're wishing you the best this season, doing your thing, catching some more touchdowns. Hopefully you got a celebration ready because we're gonna be watching.
Yeah, I'm gonna be watching. I got ESPN Plus.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, man. And yeah, that's all we got for the interview.
Sweet.
Now, so the Chicago Bears training camp came on. We had Mike and Dewey. If you haven't checked up that interview, check it out. But Roquan Smith, he's going to be in a hold-in. He's not going to participate, but he's going to show up to everything else. He's going to be in the meetings. He's going to be present. They said he was on the pub list. He had an injury list thing, so they don't have to find him or anything. So, does Roquan Smith deserve every penny?
Absolutely. Look at a guy who's got 300 tackles over 3 years. I mean, the boy is a beast.
Top 5 linebacker.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the quarterback of your defense. And when you got that situated defensively, you gotta invest in that. So I think he's gonna get his money. They're just working out the terms, trying to figure it out. Hopefully he takes a team friendly deal. But
hopefully,
if you're coming to everything but the actual practices, they're gonna make it happen.
They got to. I mean, he's doing the right things. He's not holding out. He's not making a big scene about it. He's showing up, being present, being a leader. So that deserves some type of reward. Hopefully it's a big payday for him. Because out of the guys on our roster, that's the guy, the number one guy I'm giving all the money to, investing in for the future wise right now. Because year in, year out, 100+ tackles, does his thing. But let's look at some Bears signings that happened. Michael Schofield, I believe, from the Chargers, played in Carolina and Denver. 84 games started in his career. 31 years old guy, but he brings depth on this team. He could start at the right guard position automatically, I think. So we got Mustafa at guard. What did you think about that signing?
I thought it was not the sexy one, but the necessary one. You look at the Bears and our struggles since I've been alive. Number one has been on the offensive line.
Always. Never had a good offensive line.
And when you got a young quarterback, that's the first place you have to shore up. So getting a guy with a large sample size we know exactly what we're getting out of him in terms of his quality of work. That's always a good thing, but for the average fan, you might overlook.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying Darrell Williams is out there. A lot of better options are out there, but this guy's a proven guy. I like what Poles did with this move. And then he also got Riley Reef, a tackle, played in Detroit, played with the Bengals, was hurt last year, but he's another guy who's been a starter for a lot of 16-game seasons, proven guy. You can easily plug him in. That competition at the tackle position is going to be there now. But there's some question marks. Tevin Jenkins is not listed as a starter. What do you think about that? It's been mostly Braxton Jones at the tackle position, and Reef just got some plays today.
And I think that's a good way to be proactive, is adding depth specifically to left tackle and right tackle, because that's the edge of your defense and that's where the freak athletes are. So when you lose a guy like we did last year, I mean, we had an old head in there. He was weak in the
Peters,
Jason Peters.
Man.
I mean, he just didn't make the cut, and he couldn't stay healthy on top of that. And we didn't have any depth. So we was out there ass out. So I applaud Poles for this specific move, as well as all of the moves he's made specifically in the draft, making sure we shore up that O-line. Not only shore up the top 5 guys, but that depth is super key.
Super key, especially if we want Fields to perform, because we can't give him another excuse for another bad year. We can't give him a reason to not be good. But I'm really excited with this Bears team, this training camp. You know, if you haven't checked out the video already, I said they're going to go 10-7, be a playoff team.
Whoa,
I said it numerous
that's
times.
A stretch.
It's not even a hot take. I didn't even put it out as a hot take.
So what is it? A medium take?
It's a great prediction. It's an astute observation. Or whatever
it's not a great prediction. You see the Madden rankings came out, and the Bears are like tied with Detroit.
I've I've seen some very disrespectful stuff on social media about the Bears. People are saying the Texans are going to beat them. I've seen some NFC North predictions. So Texans, I mean, Davis Mills, I'm high on him, but there's a lot going on at that organization. Shout out Blake Cashman, though. That's another great guy down at that organization.
Right. Shout out to him, man.
But I really like what the Poles has been doing. Robert Quinn
Yes.
showed up. That's a big move for the Bears. He's like, I don't want to go anywhere else. So let's keep the vet, keep him. This defense is going to be good, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary wise, we just signed Brisker, Kyler Gordon's out back in that back end. I'm really excited to see what those rookies do. But to look at this season, who are some guys you think, some unsung heroes? If the Bears are good, you would be like, oh, these guys probably had a good year. Who are some guys for you?
That's a good question. I mean, outside of the obvious, of course, you can start with Justin Fields and David Montgomery and those boys. But you look at the rookies we drafted, if we can get an impact, and not only an impact, but an idea of what to expect from them long term, I think that's a huge win for us, specifically when you have a new head coach and a new GM. And if we want to talk about who needs to perform, the coach, of course, we need to know we got a guy.
Yeah,
you know, those are the two positions you need to know you have a guy at, specifically quarterback and head coach. You can't have one without the other. And in our situation, that is the number one question mark. I think our GM is doing a phenomenal job putting the pieces together with the little we have. So I'm interested to see, as an entire team, what we look like specifically from the leadership on down.
And I really like some of the older players we have on this team, the leadership, like you mentioned. I want Eddie Jackson to step up. I want him to look like how he looked 2018, those kind of years.
Right.
I want to see him get back on there because the high emphasis on turnovers this year is with Eberflus. He wants to bring that back, punching the ball out, making turnovers. And if we see this defense do some of those things they did in 2018, this young team, this Justin Fields team, not enough weapons around them, they can make the playoffs.
There's not a chance in hell this team makes the playoffs. We're too young. Our talent is not good enough all across the board.
We're gonna save the receipts for when this man is wrong.
Please, I hope I'm wrong. Shout out to the Bears. But if you look at their roster compared to others, as well as the question marks at quarterback and head coach, and the type of offense we're running, what are we expecting from our offense this year?
They're more outside zone scheme. They want to run the ball heavy.
Okay, which means you have to block well. Yeah. So we'll see.
But and then another thing, Lucas Patrick went down with the injury. The new center we picked up.
Damn.
But he walked it off. But then they put him on the cart. You know, that could be misleading, but they put him on the cart because it's really far from the training staff thing. It'll get him in the area to get the help he needs. But so another person that's getting hate, not just the Bears, Lamar Jackson. The Lamar Jackson hate is for real. I don't understand it. People think he's not a top 10 quarterback. I think that's very disrespectful. Did you see what they put out on Twitter? Oh wait, you don't got Twitter, but
yeah, they ain't got shit else to talk about on ESPN. So of course I see it.
They were like, Lamar did an interview. He was like, people hated Jesus, and that they hate me. I don't really care.
Fact.
And people in the comments are like, Lamar, Jesus is not you. You won MVP. You did all these accolades. Like, come on, that's very, very blasphemous. But the disrespect for Lamar Jackson is just as blasphemous, if I must say.
I agree. And you look at his performance year over year, it's only gotten better, specifically on his throwing. Last year, I felt like he took a huge step before he got hurt in terms of throwing the ball. And he led comebacks a ton.
Game.
The Colts against the Raiders, they almost pulled that one out.
And this was a team with like everybody injured. Everybody torn ACLs.
Everyone. So I think he took that next step. And to be honest, he doesn't have to be that guy like a Tom Brady who's going to pick you apart from the pocket. He has to in that 2 minute. I will give you that. But the element of running the ball and not seeing that every week and having to prepare for Baltimore in 6 days, that's a defensive coordinator's nightmare because you have to completely change your philosophy on how we're stopping this team. So, and that's what he does. He creates absolute mismatches, specifically in the run game. Anytime you can add a hat to the run game offensively, you're going to be in a good position to win. And you're doing it with one of the greatest talents to ever play the game. How dare he say some foolishness like that? And he said, I don't care if he win 12 MVPs. He's not a tier 1 quarterback. What?
I don't understand that. And then even was it the safety that played for the Ravens? Was it Bernard Pollard?
Mm-hmm.
He even was saying receivers don't want to play with Lamar Jackson and stuff. And that's not Lamar Jackson's fault. It's the system that they're running.
Right.
The system he's making so great. So that system they're running, you put in a different. You think Jalen Hurts succeeds in that system like Lamar Jackson is?
That's a good question.
Or like Justin Fields, another dynamic quarterback, succeeds as
It's
much
another
as
good
Lamar
question.
Jackson
I think
in that system.
Jalen Hurts and obviously Lamar are better in terms of just making sure they don't take those big hits. Whereas Justin Fields, that's something he needs to learn. And I'm praying that he takes that next step, specifically in that department this year, because Lord only knows what that O-line gonna look like. Please don't be out here looking awkward when you're taking slides and you're trying to get down and a defender is in your face.
But now let's transition to the NBA. KD to Boston. It's basically in the works. If KD doesn't get traded,
How is basically in the works?
Nobody else wants him. That's the thing. Boston, and the thing about this trade is though, if they do try to trade for KD, they're fucking shit up with Jaylen Brown once again. His names are in the trade rumors again. He's seen that. He posted on Twitter like, oh, bruh, like come on, like, and you ruin that good relationship you have with Jaylen Brown because we saw this Celtics team was in the finals.
Right,
They added Brogdon to this team, a point guard that can do some things, 20 point a game kind of guy if he's healthy. So you don't really need KD with the team you got, the recipe you got, the chemistry you got. So I think they try to trade for KD, put up Jaylen Brown, but it's a good trade for Brooklyn though.
It's a good trade for both parties if they can make it happen. But the thing is, the Nets asking price is higher than anybody's willing to offer.
They want Robert Williams too. They want those three.
Of course they do. And I've been saying this the whole time. The Nets ain't trading KD. They're gonna ask for this astronomical ask if they get it. Who wouldn't take that? But they're not trading him for anything less because they don't have to. He's signed up for 4 years. We'll see if KD is willing to take that next step and hold out. Because the ball is in his court, because the Nets ain't trading his ass.
Or he puts on a
Kyrie opted in. We got Ben Simmons. We got TJ Warren. We got Joe getting healthy and Seth Curry. We have the team to win is here. Why on God's green earth would I blow that up?
And this is like if he wants to go legacy aspect, the Twitter fingers, he'd be ready to, defend himself. You want to go do something. You win with this Brooklyn team. That looks like better than you go to Boston. Because it's literally him doing the same thing he did with the Warriors. The team that swept him.
Right. And he's looking to do that again at the Celtics. If he goes to the Celtics and goes to another team that lost in the finals the year before, but his reputation is tarnished. So I don't see him making that decision. And shout out to the guy who leaked this motherfucking this trade request. Like, you ain't shit, because they was working behind the scenes for this for a while. And when news like this gets out, it breaks up happy homes. Jaylen, I will always have a chip on my shoulder if I was Jaylen Brown, knowing that I'm replaceable. Even if it's for KD, I don't give a shit. Especially he was the best player offered from any team so far that we know of. So, and for a reason. So I would always feel like, what? So when it's time for him to resign, is he going to look, I think he balls out this year, but
he could possibly, like, looking at it, like him going to Brooklyn, he could be a number one option. I think Jaylen Brown is like that, proved it in the playoffs. he was down the stretch. He was better performing than Tatum in some games.
Kyrie would be the number one option, and it's no question about it. Offensively, are you insane?
But you got to think, if KD's gone, Kyrie's probably going to go too.
No, he opted in. He said he's staying regardless of what KD does, because he getting a bag. What are we talking about here?
True. And it would be a good decision for him too, I guess.
Absolutely, he's got his
Or
own
if LA
deal.
tries to get him, that's still a better decision for him playing with
Again, the
a great
Nets.
mentor, because he needs a mentor.
I mean, I don't think Kyrie needs a mentor. I think he understands that there's life outside of basketball. So
Which it shouldn't be a problem that he
no, it
understands
shouldn't
that.
be a problem. We all work with people who take their jobs seriously than others,
Mhm.
and that's totally fine. Everybody has a different
thought process.
a different work-life balance,
Mhm.
and a different goal that they're trying to achieve. If you're trying to be the greatest of all time, you have to sacrifice a lot of things, specifically outside of outside of the game you play. So I don't see a problem with that. Kyrie is going to be there to stay based on what reports we're hearing. I think KD stays, and I think Brooklyn. It's hard to say when your foundation is built on sand like theirs is, specifically.
So many questions.
So many
ifs.
questions. Is there beef between Steve Nash and the players? They wanted him there. Now it's like everybody wants to jump ship.
They got rid of his assistant coaches too.
Right. So there's a lot of question marks and a lot of guys on that team that aren't leaders. And when Charles Barkley brought up the point that, okay, yeah, it's Steph's bus. I think from a talent perspective, obviously KD's the best player, arguably the best player in the world. But when you look at the leadership on Golden State and the reason why they've been so consistent, it's been from the top down. They're the GM, the president, all the way down to the head coach, all the way down to their best player in Steph Curry.
Their worst player too. They all know their roles.
Exactly. So that's the key to success and long-term success, I should say. And you got guys like KD who are bouncing from team to team. It's hard to build a foundation that's set up for success long-term when you do that.
Yeah, he needs a foundation to go to, like somewhere that's established. So, but how many games would Boston win if they had KD? Because and this is if they give up the whole house, like the Nets are asking. Robert Williams, Marcus Smart, and Brown are gone. You had KD on that team. Should they have to pick up some free agents?
Man, the way to win in this league has been set. You gotta have those. I mean, you can win with two great wings. Look at the Bulls. Look at D Wade and Bron in Miami. So I think that they can. What if they had KD and motherfucking Jason Tatum at the wings? Could you imagine?
That would be insane.
Yes.
Too.
I think they're the number one seed in the East, and it's no question. You got two guys that can play well on both sides of the court. Stupid athletic, unguardable, and clutch too. So that's exactly what Scotty and Michael were. Not comparing them to them, but that's the goal you would try to strive for if you got both of those guys on the same team.
Now let's end this episode with our top 4 Marvel movies. Marvel Mount Rushmore.
Mm-hmm.
Let me hear your top 4 first.
Marvel, let's clarify. Marvel or MCU? Because there's a difference.
Okay. My fault. Let me clarify.
All
MCU.
of Marvel?
MCU.
Okay. Top movies. Does TV shows count? Because there's been some good ones coming out lately.
let me hear the TV show first before I can say if it counts.
That's a good question.
Moon Knight probably.
Moon Knight was phenomenal. Would I put it in my top 4? Hard 10. To say. Top 10, absolutely. Looking at the future of the MCU, I feel like they're starting to branch off, specifically in genre. You've seen Doctor Strange is more of a Marvel movie. The Thor movie is more comical, more lighthearted, as opposed to just they had the blueprint set, action, comedy, love story. That was it. Whereas now it's they're kind of branching off. So I would always have to start with, I think, man,
Oh, it's a tough
it's
question.
tough. It's tough. Nostalgia sets in. I feel like that number one Iron Man has to be in there.
Let's go the first one with Terrence Howard. That one,
That shit is
that-
phenomenal.
Terrence-
You know how many times I've watched that
Terrence Howard,
growing up?
that was a letdown, man. Him not being in the next one. I mean, I like Don Cheadle, but like Terrence Howard,
Growing up?
that was a letdown, man. Him not being in the next one. I mean, I like Don Cheadle, but like Terrence Howard was
Yeah.
that man.
Yeah, sometimes actors
Come
get in
on,
their
man.
own way. Imagine him in a motherfucking suit though. in an Iron Man suit. Shout out to Don Cheadle too, though. Of course, he
doing his thing.
did his thing, no question. I think you have to put that in there specifically because Iron Man is the heart and soul of the MCU.
The favorite. He's got to be the favorite.
Absolutely. I mean, he was the guy who not single-handedly, but
Snap of the finger.
right, he's the guy who took down Thanos and sacrificed his life for it. So to segue into my next one, I will definitely have to put Endgame in there as well as Infinity War.
So Iron Man, Endgame, Infinity War. Okay.
Man, that's tough. That's tough. I need some honorable mentions so I could give some shout outs.
No,
to
yeah.
some
Go
of
ahead.
them.
Honorable mentions. This is a tough list, like we said.
I might have to put that new Doctor Strange in.
That's a hot take right there because that was a mixed reviewed movie, but I really
so?
enjoyed it. No, like
I really enjoyed it, and I feel like that was the catalyst of what to expect from the MCU moving forward. Yeah. Specifically with all the universes, of course.
Multiverse
saga. Right. Which really opens the door for absolutely anything. So from a business perspective, you're looking at that movie and the movies leading up to it. And I don't want to get derailed, but we'll talk about the Spider-Man movie before that one. Okay. But that one, I feel like it opens the possibilities for any character you could think of. X-Men, Fantastic Four.
They did change some game.
Venom. Anybody you could think of. I mean, of course, they had the cameos in that movie, but shoot, even Miles Morales, you never know. It opens up a world that anybody can be in the MCU, which I'm really excited about. So I have to put that in there.
Number 4? Or honorable mention?
Yes, honorable mention. Okay. I think, man, that's tough. I think Moon Knight is definitely honorable mention.
Okay.
Moon Knight, Black Panther, absolutely. Of
Black
course.
Panther, dude, people who hate on Black Panther, it's racially motivated. I know for a fact.
How could you possibly hate on Black Panther?
It's such a good movie.
Such a good movie. The technology that the Wakandans had at their disposal, the fact that they're just living in the shadows, I mean, it's literally mind-blowing.
I really liked, and it's just sad because, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever is coming out this year, at the end of the year. T'Challa won't be in it.
R.I.P.
It's gonna be a sad movie to watch.
Very.
And you saw like when they put out the trailer and stuff, people were crying about the trailer, but there's a lot of things to be excited for with that movie. Still though, Namor is gonna be in it. Some really great representation. Dr. Doom possibly gonna be in it.
Swear to God, Dr. Doom's one of my favorite villains.
Setting up Secret Wars, bro.
Hey,
it's gonna be crazy.
Only time will tell. I think, Dr. Doom is one of the greatest MCU characters of all time. Specifically, and there's a few things I want to touch on, but specifically for that Spider-Man movie, how hyped up was that? I feel like that was only a bridge from the old MCU to the Doctor Strange movie where we saw all the universes. It was very hyped up. It was just a nostalgic play, in my opinion. I feel like people was excited to see old Spider-Mans, including myself. But I felt like the plot, the fight scenes, the whole storyline, it could have been better. But there might have been some strategy involved leading that one up to the Doctor Strange movie. And then the movies coming after those. So, which is always a factor in MCU movies.
Now, what is your number 4 though? You gave me some honorable mentions. You didn't
I
give
didn't
me
give you number 4, so I had Iron Man, Infinity War,
Endgame.
Endgame, Doctor Strange. The new
Okay,
Doctor
I
Strange.
thought you said it was honorable mention. But now my 4, it's definitely gonna go like Infinity War, Endgame. Those
Yes.
2 are top.
Yes.
Civil War, I really like that one.
I love Civil
That
War.
was such a good
That was an
movie.
Avengers movie.
It was.
It was
yes.
an Avenger movie.
Seeing like Spider-Man in it for the first time,
Man.
him coming to the MCU,
Man.
all the characters, Ant-Man, all them colliding and them fighting too.
Iron Man almost dying by Bucky, the Winter Soldier, and
That fight
Captain
scene
America. That
at the
fight
end
scene was amazing.
Probably
Yeah.
the best fight scene in MCU history.
Whoa.
I think
Whoa.
it's up there. Top 4.
Look when Thor touched down in Wakanda
Okay,
in
that's
Endgame.
number 1. That's number 1. I'm sorry.
He was
That's number 1.
with the what was it? The Storm Chaser or some shit?
Yeah, dude, that
That shit
annihilated everybody.
That shit gives me goosebumps just to this
I'll
day.
watch that clip after this.
As well as the fight scene in Endgame where they had Thanos set up perfectly. But my man's from Guardians of the Galaxy got emotional because his boo thing was next to her expiration and he couldn't take it. He saw red and fucked the whole mission of they had to reverse time and everything, all because of his goof ass.
I am a big fan of Star-Lord though.
Me too. Absolutely.
That's another honorable mention. Guardians Galaxy, the first one.
Yes.
That was a great film.
Yes.
It was a good one.
Yes.
Really
that was phenomenal. Also, just the bits and pieces from like the history they took from that, the soundtrack, everything, that the comedic relief was phenomenal.
That was just the right amount of
how much money they made on Groot. How much money they made on Baby Groot. Baby Groot coming out with those show. Right. I'm gonna tune in. I'm looking forward to She-Hulk too. So that's my question to you, Micah. What are you looking forward to in the MCU moving forward?
Too many things. I'm really excited for Wakanda Forever. That's probably like the most recent one because we're gonna get a black Iron Man, Ironheart, a girl that's Iron Man.
Really?
Yeah. So her name's Riri Williams. I'm trying to touch up more on my comic books and stuff, but basically she steals she gets the technology from Wakanda, makes it Iron Man suit called Ironheart, which I really think is big. Black people are gonna rule the MCU for the next phase 5. It's all about phase. Blade is gonna
Blade, shout out Blade.
And Black Panther, of course, but I'm really excited for that. She-Hulk is gonna be great too. The Thing is gonna be in it. Daredevil,
really?
I got Jason Segel's rumored to be in it.
But
I'm really excited to see that, but I want the CGI to be better. Sometimes the CGI be tweaking.
Fair enough, specifically in TV shows, but you could tell there's a few like Loki and Moon Knight that were movies just cut up into TV shows, and the quality showed it. So
Loki season 2 is another one. That's one I'm excited for too.
But what was the one with the Black Captain America?
Oh, Winter Soldier, Captain America.
The TV show. That shit was not it.
And you have a personal thing against him, right?
Of course not. No, I don't. I think he's a phenomenal actor. I am proud that we have a Black Captain America. But I'm saying the TV show was not that. No. So
I mean, you try to give it a shot, but I didn't even watch it because I knew that shit.
I watched it.
Time it was gonna be on.
Yeah, it was for the kids, and it was. I feel like they had the race discussion, in a way that white people can digest, which, from our perspective, it was corny, but I felt like it was digestible for the white audience, which I really appreciate, which a lot of people disagreed with. But
shit, sometimes for the white people, you got to break it down.
You got to break it down. You got to bite-sized pieces. So you got to, yes, because it'll go right over some people's head.
But another thing I'm excited for is Fantastic Four. Now they're gonna do it as there's no origin story for it. They're just gonna have their powers. Their kids are gonna be in it.
We have the origin story already.
We've seen it already. I wouldn't mind them bringing back the old Fantastic Four, to be honest.
Man, what? But what would you do with Captain America? He's dead. His ass just gonna show up as
It's the multi-universe saga, though. Anything can happen.
That's another great point that I brought up. The multiverse anything is possible in the multiverse.
But my number 4 movie, you didn't let me say it.
My bad,
I,
chief.
you good. It's show too. Don't worry. But the number 4 movie I was gonna say was Spider-Man: No Way Home. You didn't like it that much. I mean, you liked it more in nostalgia, but just you got to see it opening day type shit. That was one of the first movies during COVID I saw opening day, which the audience was going stupid nuts. Daredevil being in it, Tobey Maguire, Andrew, all of them coming into that one little portal thing. Had the people jumping, had me jumping. And it's like one thing to like get those leaks and be like, oh yeah, this is possibly gonna happen. But when it actually happens, that is a movie that's probably gonna be one of my favorite MCU movies ever down the road. Obviously, because it's top 4, but
fair enough. I'm looking forward to Black Panther. Who are these Atlanteans? These fake DC swimmers. Who's the protagonist in this?
It's what's his name? So I think I forgot what his name is, but he's from like, so it's a battle between the two, Wakanda and Atlanteans. So, and the theory is Dr. Doom is getting them to fight each other, basically. Like he's like, forcing them, getting them to fight each other so he can steal Wakanda's technology and stuff. Which, so the Dr. Doom might be like the subtle villain in it. Like they'll show him at the end, possibly like the guy behind it all, and Namor is supposed to be a villain in the movie, but like an anti-hero kind of thing. So
of course,
I'm excited to see that, introduction to the MCU. If
Dr. Doom is in that movie, I will have a boner. Pause.
We're not cutting that out. But I think that's the perfect way to end it. You saw his Marvel top 4. You saw my top 4. But thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Check out the Instagram. Check out the Twitter. 6-Man Blitz. Give us a 5-star on Apple Podcasts. We're still working on the Apple Podcasting. We're still working on Spotify, trying to get it out, the audio version out on those platforms. But right now we're gonna keep cooking on YouTube, and we're gonna see how it goes. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Loyal subscribers, appreciate you guys. Keep liking the videos. Shout out Haley, always reposting the stories. Yes, sir. But thank you for watching. That's it. That's all we got. Peace.
Gosh, I get to wear the gear. I get to eat the meal. I got a cool ass book bag. Oh my God. No. You coming in there, that playbook, that binder, that is your life.
Right.